homie.
So, I mean, just for kind of layman like me, where I just work out in my garage and don't have lots of these implements, I grab a dumbbell, put a fat grip on it, and pretend I'm doing circus. So I like to get some inspiration and, technical advice from people who know what they're doing. And I ran into this the other day and I said, there's a lot I'm doing wrong. And I learned quite a bit here. So, Liefia, you want to walk us through kind of this situation? What led you into making this video? Like, is it coaching that you do daily and you just kind of wanted to record it and thought it would be useful for others? But, kind of walk us through how this came to be, because it's really helpful for me.
Yeah, I will. I haven't watched this in quite some time myself, so I don't remember if there was a particular outcome on this one. But if I remember, it was mostly focusing on the clean. This video was filmed by Cerberus. I was visiting a station gym there when I was traveling somewhere, and we just decided it would be nice to put something together. I think this was also pretty recently after I had just set the first world record for the dumbbell press. So that was something that I was getting a lot of attention and questions on. There's kind of two pieces. Actually, it's really helpful that I'm watching it because now I can remember what I was talking about. There's sort of like two pieces in there. One was explaining like the difference in the clean and drawing the parallel between the kettlebell swing and the dumbbell clean, because a really common fault that I see for many athletes is they're basically using the clean really inefficiently, and a really inefficient clean sets you up to be already tired by the time you hit the rack position and get ready for the press. So I explained how I set up the dumbbell clean and explained like the parallels with the kettlebell clean, which is basically how to position the dumbbell and manipulate the fulcrum of the swing of the dumbbell into your lap so that you can use your hip extension to clean it, as opposed to using your arms and upper back to actually pull the dumbbell up to your shoulder. That efficiency on the first step of the movement allows you to enter the second step of the movement with a little bit more of advantage. And then the part that we're looking at now, which is primarily how to either engage or strengthen or find your rack position. So the other maybe like second biggest fault that I see people making on the dumbbell is they don't customize their rack position. So they just hold the dumbbell in whatever place or orientation. Maybe they saw someone else do it, or someone showed them to do it. But the stuff I'm really kind of breaking down there is explaining the difference, that like the ideal position for you to hold the dumbbell most securely, especially if you're going to do a push press or a push jerk, your goal is really to stabilize the dumbbell as much as possible while you use your legs to initiate and continue the press. So what you're really doing when you're trying to strengthen your dumbbell press is find what position to hold that rack or the dumbbell rack, which position, like angle it in or out or up or down based on your strengths and weaknesses to find the most stable rack position.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't compete, but that swing really helped for me. I was standing over it when I was picking it up, and as soon as I saw this, I ran out to the garage and tried it your way, of course. And it's like you say, you're not tired out by the time you get it up into the rack position. And I'm not working with anywhere near the weights you are, but little by little we'll get there with these technique improvements, right?
Yeah, and I think not only is Becca mentioned it, and I think everyone kind of mentioned it, that Strongman has a lot of hidden technicality. There's a lot of things that can be done very easily that people make too difficult because there is so much focus on strength. Everything usually gets focused on just doing more, doing heavier, more effort. When in reality, you have a lot of these lifts that have many, many steps. And if you can clean up efficiency in those steps, not only do you have more energy to perform better, but it's more efficient on time. And there's, as we know with the rep events, there's a lot of events that don't necessarily come down to actually absolute amount of strength, but how quickly you can move, how quickly you can meet the next repetition. And those are all things that can be done with very low effort.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think is a little nuanced for people who have never done it before is the duck under at the end. So how did you make that kind of like muscle memory and just natural?
That's just a carryover from barbell jerks. So the like if you dipping down to drive back up, we call that a push press, right? Where you're initiating the press with your legs and then finishing the lockout with the arm. But the dip and drive and the drop under, that's a jerk. So that's basically just a direct carryover from bilateral jerk, from barbell jerks. But you just learn how to do it with one arm. It's the same skill.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, very helpful for me. So I'm going to try to implement these things